Happy whatever the hell day it is today. Saturday. Happy Saturday. All right, so we're going to do our next build here for Los Lowriders. And we're going to do this little black truck here. Let's go ahead and grab all our pieces that we have sitting here on the ground. And that's this truck. '56 custom '56 truck. That's what this is. I bet that's the piece for that. And here's a little window for it. Yeah, let's get this out here and put it here. There we go. All right, so these are all the parts for the truck, and honestly, it has one of the more interesting wheels. It actually had white tires that had these skulls on them. And I'm fine with the skulls. I'm not fine with them being white. I mean, like the rubber was white. Like, this guy would show up with at a team meeting. He's like, "You fucking crazy, man." Yep. That rolls really well, actually. Got to put a stop to that. And let's see what this looks like with a window on it. Maybe it needs to sit in here Shit, I don't know how it goes. I may or may not keep it in there. This whole bed and inside was chrome colored. That's just ridiculous. There you go. Bed's all black like it should be. Good morning, Marcus. And it already has a little peekaboo little engine thing here. Now, I know some people that love these kind of trucks. I think they're butt ugly. Sorry, I'm just saying, aesthetically, the shape of it. Yeah, I wouldn't drive one of those things. And initially I was thinking, let's put a bazooka on here. Let's put a bazooka on a turret. So let's get our little scratch pad out here. This is obviously going to be a truck troop type. A bazooka, I believe, is, I believe a bazooka is 4 points. I'll double check that. So we're going to call this one for now La Calavera, the skull. Okay, it's going to be a truck. Truck is 15 points. I believe so. Let's go ahead and grab the rule book. Since my cheat sheet is not here. We're going to treat that like a bazooka, not a rocket launcher. It's 4. Okay. And the truck is 15. So if I put a turreted bazooka, that's it, it's done. If I want to make a 27-point vehicle. So I guess it can't be a 27-point vehicle. I guess won't be able to. It'll have to be the larger. And it's a little larger vehicle anyway, so I'm fine making that one a 35 pointer. Fine doing that. Just can't put a weapon like this in it. I mean, look, the base is even round. Like, it's got to go on something where it can swivel all the way around. Okay, so La Calavera is going to be a 15-point truck. And trucks have 3 build slots. And we're going to put a bazooka, it's going to be treated like a bazooka. It's basically only 3d6, but every hit that gets put on it creates 2 hazards. So it's got, it's got that blast. Bazooka is, and a bazooka's only 1, isn't it? A bazooka may only be 1 build slot. Nope, it's 2. Okay, well, 2 build slots it is. Bazooka, 2 build slots, and it's going to be unturreted. It's going to be 4 times 3 equals 12. So now they got 15 and 12. We're 27 so far. All right. And we're going to have to build this up and put it on something. So we need at least this height. I mean, it's a relatively large vehicle. So having something big like this kind of makes sense. Only thing I don't like about lumping everything together in like these categories that are like a truck is this and this is the other thing is it's a truck. Basically, making this a truck is basically going to give you a 3rd crew member. I don't know where the hell that 3rd guy would go. Maybe they're just really small Mexicans, and 3 of them are on that bench seat. But 1 guy is going to have the gear shift that has been between his legs. But that's my problem. That's Paco's problem. Good morning. Have a good Thanksgiving. I did. What are we doing here? We're playing with toy trucks and making them look. By the way, I finished the other 2 yesterday, and I've been really impressed with how they turned out. This is the Velvet Vato, and this is the Crimson Cuervo. Crimson Crow. So all these cars are either going to have Spanglish names, meaning if they're compound, one will be English, one will be in Spanish, or all Spanish names. So we got 2 so far. How long do those take? I don't know, a couple hours maybe. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's for a game called Gaslands, which is like Car Wars, and you play with these. They have stencils, and that's how you roll dice to see what maneuvers you can do, and roll and play stencils and ram into each other, and it's good, simple fun. And it forces you to go to the toy aisle and see what cars are there. Oh darn, So I think I'm going to build a platform probably out of things away. It's a shame because the back of this looks pretty cool. There's some pretty interesting details there, but we can't do this. Okay, that's way over the top. I know they built these trucks from the 1950s pretty strongly, but that's going to be it's not going to exactly. That's kind of not going to work exactly. like that. So we're going to have to put it down, up here, and we're going to need to build it up to a point where I can rotate this 360 degrees. I don't have to do that. I choose to do that. So we're probably going to have to seal all this up. Now, the other alternative is to take this truck. Okay, because I'm not necessarily set on this having this on here, but we have this truck, which is a tuned, as in cartooned, version of an F-150. And its back is a little different. Normally the cartoon trucks don't have, the cartoon vehicles for Hot Wheels don't have interiors, and this one does not have an interior. And this thing fits like this. And now it can go back here without any interference. So maybe I should save this for this vehicle. Except I am not completely certain that this is going to be a Mexican vehicle. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let me get all the parts for this guy. It's got some big ass wheels on it. It's got to be these. Ford Lightning. Okay, and then it's got this trumpet-like thing. Death trumpet. And I'll tell you why it looks like it's got like a death trumpet on it. All right, this was all chrome, and even if I wanted to chrome, we're gonna have to repaint it. Show you what this thing looks like. So it's got this, what would that be? An intake? This is like this has got to be like a truck that has nitro on it. The engine is just too big. You know, part of me is like, man, I could just repaint that. But I'm like, and the front of this, I don't want to put a ram on it. The front of this would look so cool. You know, paint it like it's supposed to be a truck. I mean, look, all the details are there for its lights. The paint department at Hot Wheels decided, nah, we're not going to do any of that. So I'll do it, and it's going to look awesome. But, you know, these are all the pieces that go together. Maybe I should reserve this for this, because I can pretty much put it on here and not have to do anything. Obviously, it'll be probably black. It'll be a black or a dark colored rocket launcher. This is like a surface to air stinger, like something. But in this silly game, it would be considered a rocket launcher. So maybe I should save that for that. Because this is a nice truck bed. Carl Warhammer. Yeah, but it's on the opposite end I've never played Warhammer, okay, but I've heard stories. Boy, have I heard stories. And I have not played Warhammer because it's a plot that I'm not really interested in. But one of the biggest problems that people have with Warhammer is there's two problems that most people have with Warhammer. Cost, and the idea that, oh, that's not our miniature, you can't play with it. This is the opposite of both of those things. The cost of these things is damn near free, and you can use whatever the hell you want. Yeah. So this is an old school rule set in that it's not supported by any company of any kind, which means, you know, you're allowed to use anything you want. Let's get all these pieces together. We're going to build all these cars eventually, so let's put all the pieces together that got taken apart to prime and so forth. Where is the chassis of this? And I am still not motivated at all to switch out tires on these things. It just doesn't interest me. It's a lot of extra work, and I don't know that it has a lot of added value. The wheels just are good enough for me. All right, so let's put these two guys that are completed over the way. We've got this calavera there. Let's get all these things out of here. This is Quick Bite. Quick Bite is Le Food Truck, which the fajita food truck. With this ridiculously loud orange windows, which will probably going to be nixed. This is going to go like that. Okay. And we got some smiling cholo in there. All right. And all right, here's the bottoms of the other two. One of these. It's got 3 Impalas. Both of these are silver. What color? See if I can tell what color rims these are. One of them has gray. They did a good job of covering them. I can barely see green here. Okay, so this is this one. And it goes with, oh, it already has the interior, right. The green one has, shit, I don't remember. I think it has this one. Doesn't matter, they're completely interchangeable. So this one has this, yeah. It's got like flames. It's got to be a flame-throwing vehicle, like a Green Dragon or something like that. And then this is like, I was trying to figure out how, I thought this was the, first of all, I thought it was a snake when I bought it. I'm like, oh, that's a snake's eye. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's the Hulk. But the Hulk has a gold tooth. And then he's got some lucha libre mask there. So this is some crazed luchador. Welcome back, Ronald. How are you? Okay, and this one is, yeah, this one had this color top. And it even says libre up here. Oh, it says lucha libre. So, which is, you know, wrestling, which is like free fight. For those of you that do not speak Spanish, lucha libre is like, translates into like free fight, free for all. And this little guy here is a little boom truck. Unfortunately, wall of amplifiers, the wall of amplifiers weapon is 3 build slots in the game. What happened here? There we go. Which means that this thing would have no other weapons other than the boom. But that's okay. It's going to be a support vehicle. All right, what am I doing wrong? Why am I holding my mouth wrong here? This goes like that. There's no doubt about that. This goes up here. We took all these things apart so we could, you know, clear coat them and so forth. You're right. Okay, that goes like that. This goes like this. And this goes like so. All right. And this is really low ground clearance. You drill these things out, you're drilling through the plastic. You're like melting it, almost like molten lava. Oh, the wheels popped off on this guy. Sealing itself back up. There we go. Yeah, so it's got a little boom box back here. And that's this purple part, even if I kept this purple windshield, which doesn't look too bad, this purple back here's got to go. That's probably going to be, painted. Well, it could be painted gold, I guess, and silver, black, something like that. Probably not black, so that the little speaker things will pop out. And it is really low. Really low. Some cool stuff here. I mean, I wouldn't drive any of these vehicles, but they're perfect for this environment. What's the Lucha car going to be called? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. But I still need to get more of these cars, okay? Because, I'm going to have one that's going to be called a carnicero, the butcher, and I have a weapon for him. And it may just be something that, I lower. It may be that that van. I got basically like a delivery van, a panel van. This Fandango car. It's the garbage day crowd. Oh, they're a day behind, so they'll be gone in no time here. Let's see. Why is this purple on the inside? That's strange. Yeah, why is the inside of this purple? Something queer is afoot. Does this fit in here? Yeah, it's strange that they would have made the inside purple. Yeah, Fandango. It's a Durango. It's totally like the first series of Durangos when they first came out in the, late 90s? Something like that. Again, this should be, they're out of scale. This is probably more like 1/72nd scale. Durangos are rather large. So just like this should be rather small, and it's not. It's actually bigger than the Durango. So if we're not going to put the rocket launcher on this thing because it fits better on this truck, I mean, it really does. I mean, we can just, we could just literally run one with it. Then I think we're going to put a Gatling gun on the back of this thing. The butcher after Mitch. No, we're not including people in this game. And there's several reasons I'm not going to do that. First of all, I don't want to get into this thing where certain vehicles belong to certain people. I don't want to do that. It's unlike, keeping, then I have to keep stats and all that kind of crap. I don't want to do that. So the beauty of this is I can build cars and I may never get a chance to play it. I don't know. I don't care. I get to name it. I get to build it. I get to paint it. It's a win, So the whole people get randomly assigned a vehicle works pretty well. So if we're not going to put a rocket launcher, it's going to take up 2 slots. We'll basically free up a slot. Now, in here, I have a new Gatling gun on a platform. Let me find it and see what it looks like. I have to pull everything out here. And it's still going to be a 33-point vehicle because by the time I add something like this on a turret, and I imagine this thing would be turreted, we'll probably be able to. I don't know if I want to do a ram on it. It's got such a pretty front on it. Nope. These are none of those weapons. Nope. Nope. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, the butcher will have something like this saw blade thing on the front. And I probably would put blood on all over it. Even though it's, you know, you got to get through a candy center. Maybe one of these. Maybe one of these will work. That don't look half bad. Looks like it fits on there just right. Here it is. I thought for sure I was going to add crews and stuff to this. It's so hard to come by figures. And I don't want to just put some random figure. I mean, it's got to be some guy that's either in a lucha libre mask or some guy, you know, with all choloed out. So let's take a look and see what this looks like. As it is on a little stand. Might be a little too nice to use on here. Some pretty fine details on this thing. I think I like this. I kind of like this thing too. Because of the way the feet are, I'm not going to be able to put it in there it's going to either have to be like this or take it apart and then somehow get magnets on there. I'm not taking all that on. It's turreted. We'll put it on a little platform. So this will be 15 points. This is 15. We're at 30. The RAM is at 4. We have 1 point left and 1 build slot. That sucks. That sucks. Or not make that thing turreted. Well, I may not make a chain gun turreted, but it sure isn't going to look like that. It needs to be, you know, that's a turreted weapon. So what the hell is 1.1 build slot? I think it was like a glue dropper or something like that. But this thing doesn't scream glue dropper to me. Oh, the truck's only 12 points. What am I talking about? Okay. 15, 27, 31, and some kind of front MG or something like that on it. Yeah, we can pretty much do anything. Okay. Toyota Pickup Mexican Edition. Yeah, something like that. There was a wrestler called Eddie Guerrero who used to drive a lowrider out on stage. He went by a few names like Latino Heat and El Gringo Loco. How do you know about that stuff? Well, this one doesn't have a RAM, so the next one will. And it's probably going to be this one. I'm probably going to make this black one not have a RAM. I'm probably going to have this one. RAM will stand out nicer on this vehicle. Guerrero, the warrior. All right. How would we go about attaching this? Well, Well, I'm going to cut some of the ends off, and then we'll put it flush on there. And then this thing, yeah, it won't fit like this. Now, what if I take the little feet off? Then it might. So let's try that. It's just a tiny little tab on the end. Oh, I think we can get it to fit in there. I just want the option of being able to position it whichever way the enemy is facing. Okay, so we got that there. We're still going to have to put a little platform on it, but not that big. Okay, and then this, let's remove these two little go across like that and across like that. A little bit more. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. All right, we're going to put one other weapon on here. Let's see what we got. It kind of goes with the look of this thing. I mean, it could be something like this. We'll make it so it spits out the stuff away from the truck. Yeah, let's keep the roof clear. Something like that. Something like that. You grew up with it? Just seems to me, I thought that was a North American phenomenon, wrestling. Okay, let's remove some of this extra plastic down here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do yesterday? Shopping. Those days of like going to the toy store or something like that at midnight, going to Toys R Us at like midnight, and gotta get what, they're over. Waste so much fuel and trouble, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure it's taking a big hit. You know, we also luckily don't need anything. I mean, I'd like a chair. It's not so damn squeaky, but you know, I can get by if I don't get one. I'll be all right. As it's quiet right now. Oh, don't wake up the chair. All right. Hot glue gun is your friend. That'd be a good thing to be cordless. They probably do make a hot glue gun that's cordless. It probably goes through power like crazy. It should, anyways. We're going to seal this thing up. I don't see any reason to leave this thing open. What is my next match play? I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't talked to anybody about it. I don't know if Mitch has any Saturdays left or back to Tuesdays. I don't really want to play on a Tuesday. It fucks up my entire work week. I'm out until midnight. I got to get up at 5. I don't get any sleep. And everybody else sleeps in. So it's like, it needs to be a little inconvenient for you too. But we should be able to have some Mexican team members on it. I started off doing the Brits, and I've got one Brit vehicle. Yeah, I guess 2. You can call it Bentley. Oh, the Bentley's urban Brits. Is there such a thing? Are there urban people in Britain? I'm sure they are. Urbanites. Let's splooge this thing in here. Seal this up. All right, I'm going to take all these things and we're going to prime these in black. Now, I'm going to have to make a little platform of sorts. The good thing is we have some support here. So if I make it out of, you know what? I got these remnants. It'd probably be great to make it out of. Let's try that. Of these bases, which we're not going to mount any of these on bases. Oh, let's have motorbikes. I think I may, if we have bikes, we'll have to do that. Okay, let's see if I can get one that's about the right size, so we don't have to cut it down as much. This is not really any fun to cut through. It would be significantly less wide than that. Okay, we start getting ones about the right range in here. Not wide enough. Nothing really in between the two. Okay. Oh, it's metric. I guess these are the same size, so it doesn't really matter. But I like whole numbers. All right. $18 mil. That's not going to work. That's not going to work either. This is a cut edge. This is a true edge. Right. Let's do it on an edge that we don't have any markings on. I'll just use a metal ruler, but I don't know where the hell it is right now. Fuck. Well, luckily it went the other direction. Okay, just a little too tight. That's fine. We're going to sand it down, and then we won't even have to glue it in, I don't think. Let's just cover the whole thing. Okay, where's Mr. Sandpaper? Put these away. I mean, this is great material. The only thing is things don't glue to it great. Okay? But we're not putting any heavy loads or anything on this. There was a piece of sandpaper that was floating around here. It's just as easily just do something else. And any of these I want to Shit, probably don't have to glue it in. Ah, that's funny because we needed to cut those little feet off anyways, because it wouldn't fit on there. Look at that, perfect clearance. So this afternoon, if you're on, got to go run some errands. New York City. New York City errands. All right, we've got some roughage on here. It's just a little distracting. Something like that. We'll have this machine gun here. Something like that. And then this cow catcher on the front. All right, let's prime these items. Yeah, I may drip the liquid cement in here, the thin, and just be done with it. These wheels are actually white. Like the entire wheel was white with like black calaveras on there. So we're not going to do that. I'm not going to have any vehicles that do not have black tires. Sorry, or rubber colored tires. We're not going there. That's just redonkulous. Make sure we don't leave it so that tip that's still warm is touching the wiring on the front. Let's go ahead and do the back side of these things first. I don't know what my schedule today is going to look like. All right, let's fire up this this primer. It's about time for my first Coke of the day. Be right back. All right, a brush here that somewhat maneuverable. This one should be fine. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to play again. I haven't. People are playing a lot of stuff, even though we're not playing this. It's not like, man, you need to play together because those guys need to play. Now they're playing every week. They're just playing while I'm at work. They work at they play at weird ass hours. And those of us that have a Monday through Friday standard job. But I'm not dying to play. That doesn't mean I mind, but you know, I got other things I can play. I can get my paint my painting kicks out of. It's not like, if I'm not playing this, I'm not getting any playtime. So it's not as pressing for me as it would be for other people. Well, we're going to flush these guys out. I've been talking about having a Mexican group for a long time. Go back and finish up some rednecks. Do a few others, and then we're going to start doing some off-road looking vehicles. Buggies. I got a ton of buggies. God, I couldn't imagine if like this is the only thing you could play. Like, no, we got consoles and computer games we can get our game on. Now, it's not the same, but it serves its purpose. It's not like, well, if I'm not playing something face to face, I'm not playing anything at all. That is not the case. And likewise, you know, if they're playing something that doesn't interest me, I'm not going to go play. I mean, I actually didn't used to do that until we started getting some people in the group that are like, well, I'm not going to play that. Well, I'm like, fuck it. Well, I'm not going to play your shit then. It's not that I don't want to play, but it's like, man, it's a pain in the ass. I got to leave for work. I got to leave from work early. I've got to drive over there. I got to stay late. It's all really inconvenient for me. So it's like, unless I really want to do it, I'm just not going to, I'm not interested in playing Commanding Colors or something like that, and like give myself no sleep. It just isn't worth it. If it was, if I didn't have anything to do, if it was on a weekend, yeah, okay. It's not like I dislike the company of any of the people, but all right. Now I'm going to take some of this ultra thin drippy dew, and we're going to drip it in there, hopefully. But I need to put it somewhere else. I need to put it over here. Is this ultra thin? I'm gonna go ahead and use the end of this. Why not? You know, it'd be like if you had some kind of local player, it was like, I want to play everything except, so you're a DBA player. I want to play everything but DBA. And they never want to play DBA. You're like, well, I'm not going to play your shit then. And most people aren't that way. But there's some folks that are just difficult. Okay. Another all black vehicle. Should be a fan favorite. People love black vehicles for some reason. I don't like black vehicles from the standpoint that the drippings don't stand out really well on them. So, like on this one, I had to paint some things that were off metal type colors so they would stand out. Otherwise, it just ends up being a big, ashy black scumbag looking thing. Although that would probably fit what this guy is. He's probably some form of scumbag. All right, so while that's drying and we can't do anything, we got to work on something else. So I'm going to leave the purple windshield on the front and on the back. And obviously we're going to leave the gold color on this. But this purple around this boom box back here just isn't going to work for me. So I'm going to pull this thing apart. And we're going to take this and we're going to paint everything back here and with the black primer. Except the window. I actually don't mind the purple window. We can work with that. There's some purple accents on this truck, so it's not like it's a color that's not present in the paint scheme of it at all. And this primer is not very good. I'm really not. I just have a lot of it. I don't love this Vallejo primer. But between the primer, painting it, and then sealing it, it's fairly durable. It's durable enough that if in handling, the paint's not coming off. We don't need to, have some kid play with it and then you destroy it and then like, well, why the hell did the paint come off? It's not made for that, but it's durable for use, not misuse. I'm going to flip this over because it's a little transparent, and we're going to prime the backside too, make it nice and dark. And I'm probably going to make this, even though it has a boom box on here, I'm probably going to give it the boom box weapon. What they call wall of amplifiers. And unfortunately, it uses 3 build slots, and this thing can only have 3 as a truck. So it's like that's all they can have. Well, that involves build slots. Now, what did we say it was? It was a 12-point vehicle. Wall of amplifiers only uses up. It's not very expensive point-wise. It's just very expensive build things-wise. Wall of amplifiers might only be a 4-point item. It is. It is. So, yeah, this thing is only 16 points. But has no build slots left. So this unlike the boom bus, this can be a support vehicle with a wall of amplifiers and still fit in the 27-point zone. I just can't put a ram on it. I mean, I could put an exploding ram, but an exploding ram just doesn't go with the look of this vehicle. So we'll wait for that to dry. If I want to get all these parts together, and I was going to have to build some of these things out of order just because of drying time. How are we doing here? Not ready to flip them over. Okay. Let's take a sip here. El Sipo. Yeah, again, this has some nice front lights and tail lights that could be painted in. The painting department just decided to rebel and not do it. Yeah, I don't worry about, making this game super realistic or anything like that. You'll be like, okay, well, how do you reload this thing on the move? Like, where's the ammo rounds? It's like, okay, it's not that kind of a game, right? It's less realistic than, say, Battletech. So not really, not really important. This guy's going to be next, so we might as well just do this one next as well. But yeah, the 1/64 scale figures are really expensive. Really expensive. Like, for no reason. I don't even want them pre-painted. You like save no money pre-painting them being unpainted. I was looking at them again this morning. I mean, they make some pretty cool figures. I mean, car wash girls, pit crews, gangsters. They make all kinds of stuff. But every figure's like $5 a piece, even when you buy them in multi-packs. I mean, it's just too expensive. And I don't know how they're going to look. They might be like crappy. They might be too big. I have no idea. It just seems like it's full of risks. But I thought for sure I'd be like, okay, well, we're gonna have a Gatling gun like that on this truck. Well, we gotta have like a crew or a guy like holding it or something like that. I'm not worried about all that stuff. I'm not afraid of painting them. I'm just afraid of like throwing a lot of money at the problem and being unhappy with the results. So I'd rather just leave it the hell alone. All right, we warmed up yet? Not yet. We'll seal this thing up, and then we'll flip those things and paint the other side of them. And that's why I have to work on multiple things, just because of waiting time. It's not my preference to work on multiple things. Now, if I had not gotten a hot glue gun 2 years ago, I'd be using epoxy for all this, which is a lot messier. It's also a lot better bond, but this will work just fine. All right, we'll let that dry like that. We don't need the hot glue for anything else, so let's unplug it again. What's up, Charlie? I think that's what your name says. All right, so let's go back to these weapons. Flip these upside down. They should be dry enough to be held in place. So of all the things that I paint, these paint quicker than anything else. I could paint one of these vehicles, most of them, quicker than I can. Or I should say enhance them. I'm not painting them from scratch, but we can make them, we could finish with one quicker than it takes me to paint one figure. So I think it's super quick. You have the same hobby, like cars or Gaslands? There's a guy that does like refurbs. You know who he is. There's probably multiple people that do refurbs. And they have, stuff on YouTube. Hey, they'll take like an old 68 Camaro that's been beat up at the bottom of a lake or something like that, and they'll take it apart and sandblast it and repaint it. And it looks great, except that, there's no black lining or anything on it. It's just like showroom quality. I like emphasizing all the little nooks and crannies that these vehicles have so you can see them 2 or 3 feet away when you're playing with them. You're from Switzerland, no? The land of Ricola. I'm not a big chocolate fan, but my favorite chocolate is Swiss. It's not so friggin' bitter. Maybe I'll leave the house today. I didn't leave the house at all yesterday. And the only thing I bought for Black Friday, which I actually think I got it on Thanksgiving, to be honest with you. I ordered it on Thanksgiving, was a new phone case, because this one's it's kind of cracked. And, well, that's it. I don't need anything, fortunately. I'm from Florida, a land of sunshine and bugs. Not too many bugs the last couple of days. We had a little bit of a cool snap, which it can do that every day for all I care. Bring on the cold. Okay, we just need to let that dry. And then we'll have those things on there. I think this super glue is dry. I'm going to go ahead and paint over this. I don't know that it's going to make much of a difference, but when I go to weather this, I got a better chance of this sticking to this than the plastic. All right, yeah, we got to flip in between things because of the drying time. Even though like the hot glue sets immediately, still got some drying time on everything else. All right. This is so low that the little bit that the super glue sticks out actually keeps it from rolling. That's probably a good thing. I don't have to glue wheels then, if it's not going to move. And the whole point of gluing it is you know, you move the car and then, you know, the vehicle, and it stays where it's supposed to be. All right, we're going to rinse this off because we should be done with this color. And then we're going to do black lining to this guy. No point in doing it on the black truck until we've done the weathering. You won't be able to tell anything on it. So let's go over here and we're going to grab our Nuln Oil equivalent, also known as dark tone. I actually like this a lot better than Nuln Oil. It seems like it's a little bit thicker. So you got some options to thin it. And a precision brush. That is a liner. It's got a much longer bristle. I like liners for this sort of thing. And this may take 2 passes on everything. I'm not sure yet. A little bit of water in case we need to thin something down. And we're going to go over all these spots where there's an edge, a little nook and a cranny, and make them pop out. One of the most important things to do to make all these details standing out is this right here. And I actually like doing this a lot. You get to appreciate all the shape that all the things have in these cars. They're a lot more complex than you would think. Like, it's just a toy car. There's a little bit more to it than that. I mean, there's some stuff that goes into them. Somebody was on yesterday was talking about that they really like the majorette ones. You can't find them in stores. You can't find majorette in stores. I don't really have a preference for any of them. A lot of Hot Wheels are exaggerated, which work really well for this game. This is an exaggerated game. If I was going to use them for like a train layout or something like that, yeah, the Hot Wheels probably wouldn't be my first choice. But it's exaggerated type of gameplay. It's just absolutely fine. Yeah, so we just made those little parts stand out. You know, a door looking like this as opposed to like this with no black lining. It's just lost. The details are lost there. And these are the black lines that you'd have on here if I was like making a car. If I was going to make a car that, for instance, was not damaged at all, had not gone out on the somewhere to, on the track, I'd still use the black lining. I wouldn't do the weathering and I wouldn't do the rusty drippings, but that's coming up next. But all of them working together makes it look like a very believable look. What do you got here? Just 1 second. Nope. 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 Okay. And this is probably going to have some kind of gold rims. Probably. I believe it had them. And if I don't prime them, let's pay attention. If I don't prime them, just by handling it, the gold rims would come off. The gold overpaint on them would come off. So I think what I'm going to do, I've got a day coming up in the next couple weeks that we should be let out of work early. And my intent, I think, on that day is that's the day I'm going to travel to the other town and try to pick up a tractor. Try to pick up a tractor at this used place I've talked about before, the vintage toy store. He sells these big bags for like $10 of like all kinds of shit in them. I mean, they're clear so you can see what's in them. And just get one that has a tractor. Or one that has 2 tractors. That'd be even better. War rig. The problem with a war rig is I can see having all kinds of different flavors. I could see having an Indian one, a redneck one, just a regular hellscape one, something like this. Some disgruntled Hell's Angel looking thing. That's probably the one I'll do first, is one that's just a generic hellhole looking thing. But I need to put some thought into how I'm going to build it before I just go with whatever's there. there's all kinds of little nooks and crannies on here. What the hell's a cranny? I highlight that new house. I don't know. It's got too many crannies. What? Now we got some 2 speakers back here. I guess I'll paint them primer colored. They're built into the body. They definitely look like speakers. It'd be cool to like listen in on one of these design things because they design all these vehicles and like some of them are designed by certain people. You know, the toys are designed by people. I'd like to see what goes on in some of these like meetings because there's some vehicles that you see up on the rack. You're like, nobody would ever buy this. Like if it's like a scooter or a skateboard that's just the same size, you know, they're just the same size as this. It's not like it's a scooter that's small or, you know, comes with 10 of them or something like that or 5 or it's just a scooter that's way out of scale. That, you know, that like even when I was a kid, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I wouldn't be able to have, okay, we have you know, it's different than if you have something like a Durango, right? This Durango is definitely smaller, probably by 50% than the real vehicle. I can live with that. What I can't live with that is as a motorcycle that's the same size as this because oh well it's the you know it's box scale, you know. I only have well I'm basically 1/72 scale guy. I have 1/72 scale, 1/176 scale tanks. A lot. And this is the same scale basically. I can use 1/72 scale figures in here and they look all right. But even within all these, you know, Hot Wheels don't tell you what scale they are. This one is way larger than it should be. I don't know what truck this is, but it's a truck that doesn't have a rear seat. So you're looking like the really low tier pickup truck. So this relatively should be a small vehicle. This is way undersized compared to this, or that's way oversized. You know, likewise, we've got this thing is probably the right size to this, but way oversized compared to this one. You know, the Lotus Esprit is just as long. And the same thing, we've got this Guns and Hoses is this huge make-believe fire truck. It's a fire truck of some unknown sort. It's way undersized. I mean, this is probably like 1/80th scale or something like that, 82nd or maybe even smaller than that. So more compressed than that. And then you got some stuff that's just tuned and ridiculous. I mean, here's an F-150, which is a full-size truck, and it's smaller than this. So I'm okay with some fluctuations. You know, it doesn't have to be spot on for me to have a problem with it. You know, there's some I'm okay with some flexibility. You know, this thing's way undersized. Actually, other than the Ram, this truck's longer than this one. You know, but I don't do like 143rd. There's a vehicle I wanted to get from a movie, and they don't make it in 1/64th. They make it in 143rd. Okay, well, I'm not buying. I'm not really interested in that. That's not really compatible with anything else I have. It's just a weird number anyways. 143. Like, why didn't you do 142nd or 140 or 144th or something, or 145th, 143rd. That's just a weird ass number. That's just somebody trying to be difficult, you know. Like somebody was trying to explain to me the difference between 124th scale cars and 125th scale cars, you know, like models. And I'm like, they shouldn't both exist, you know. That's even worse than 132nd and 135th. You know, it's like, you know, you're just off by one number. That's just somebody difficult. You have 90s 118th USA models. Those are big. Those are really, really big. I don't build cars other than if I put guns on them. And I'm doing it because it's for a game. You know, I don't. Ooh, we did not get a good seal on this, and luckily this did not open up and spill. If I had, I'd just have to clean it up. But I don't like building things that there's no chance of ever playing a game with them. You know, there's no sense of urgency. So there's no excitement for it. You know, I may build things that may never show up in a game, but I like the idea of it, there being a possibility of it showing up in a game. All right, I'm gonna go grab a snack. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, I gotta eat something. I'm starving here. Well, the good news is this stuff is this is ready to go. And I think, well, this won't be permanently mounted, but these will. I think we just can glue them right on the spot. So, back to La Calavera. I'm actually not going to do that because I want to paint this grill metal. And you're going to see some of it. And you're going to be able to get to it a lot easier like that than not. I mean, I wish the Rams didn't take a build slot, but then if they didn't, every vehicle would have them. So this MG is going to sit like so. I don't care that it's pointed down a little bit. It's going to get you. It's going to get you. It can't be up here because it's just in the way. And then this guy is going to be sitting up here. And we'll put probably little tabs of this stickum stuff underneath it to kind of hold it in place. And then this will be mounted on the grill. So let's go ahead and glue. Let's go ahead and paint these areas, the back, the front. And then while that's drying, we can do some other things. Okay, so let's get the darkest metal that we have of all the metal colors that we have. The infamous Iron Warriors. Be careful, the glue is over there. We don't want to get none of that on you. And we're going to take a brush that's rather large for this. This seems to be a pretty popular vehicle as far as people that have a retro vehicle, is to have something like this. And I don't know about being a 1956 Ford as opposed to a 55, as opposed to a 57, as opposed to 58, but this type of truck seems to be, or at least that's the perception, is to make it look like it's a common thing for people that restore old vehicles to have. I've seen several of them on the road. Several TV shows feature folks that have old vehicles, and something like this seems to be one of them. I'm going to paint this metal even though it's not very inspirational looking. We have the floorboards here. This will be metal colored. Same thing on this side. Doesn't have any visible door handles, so we won't mess with that. I'll paint the front of it all silver, even though we'll probably paint a fake scoop in there, make it look more believable. That's it, and that's all we need to do on that one. Why the hell is this so wet? Three-man crew, so you definitely can fire the 2 weapons it has. Plus you have a third guy throwing grenades or something. And this, we're going to paint this the Tin Bits color as the base anyways. Or whatever it's really called. And Tin Bits really made a lasting impression on me. Rough Iron. Rough Iron is actually a much better color. Tin Bits. If it's tin, why is it like corroded color? And we're going to sloppily paint this on. We don't need to go up into the gaps in the pieces. Could have brushed this a little bit more. Larger. You know, Thanksgiving is an interesting holiday here because, with the exception of 1 year, it's like a long weekend for me. And we don't travel during it. So it's a really long weekend. But I still want to maintain my same schedule. I don't want to like sleep in and screw everything up. And that day you end up coming back to work, it'd be even more inconvenient if you were already doing a bunch of different stuff. And stick to the same schedule and roll with that. Just paint all this metallic, even if we end up having to repaint. There's gonna be little parts in it that we're gonna touch on and make look different. Dissimilar metals and all that. Guess if you had a white chain gun, it probably would work too, but not real practical. It'd be dirty in no time. Somewhere glued up like that. Can't put it on the roof of the truck. It'll interfere with a chain gun. No. Let's get our friendly neighborhood black. This thing's almost squeezed all the way to the point where it's like a toothpaste container tube that's been really mishandled. But there's still lots of paint in there. And then we'll get a touch of white. And let's paint the headlamps on this thing. I'm gonna make a little bit of dark gray. point to this, and we're going to do a little semicircle on the bottom of it. And we're going to take one little dot here at the top. Kind of a little gleam in its eye. And we got something that looks like this. Now we're going to come in and we're going to brighten up certain parts of that grill. We have the darkest metallic color on there anyways. You can go up one side to this one. Let's get Iron Breaker out here. Iron Breaker. Okay. And we'll do the same thing back here in the back. And I don't think I'm going to paint these skulls silver. I think we'll let the weathering take care of it itself. And if I don't like how it looks, then we can mess with them. But I don't think I'm going to initially go with that. Now we do have this brighter Iron Breaker. These bits happen to be from, well, it's actually some of each. The ram and this chain gun are from Creepy Hero Studios. Just got them last week. And the machine gun that's going to go on the hood is from Switchyard Studios. Another 3D printer. And of course, this is going to have some drippings of different colors and so forth. You know, obviously not green or anything like that, but you know, just different types of metals. Looks pretty good. Pretty good so far. All right, this front thing. Let's go back to Iron Warriors and give this thing a dry brush of this. I'm not even gonna rinse it. And I can always say, you know what? I want this Iron Warriors to be just a little bit darker. Since this is a black truck, so let's just mix some black in there with it. Just because it's metallic doesn't mean you can't mix colors in with it. And let's take the standard Iron Warriors. Make this stand out. And I don't think that would be, I don't think we'll be going any brighter than this. But this is definitely fair game to glue this thing in place now. So I think what we will do is we're actually going to get the hot glue gun to kind of get it in place at the bottom where it's not visible. It's almost ready for a refill. We got a few of those, although it came with like 75, or I bought like I think it may have not come with any hot glue. I don't remember. It didn't come with any. I bought another one, 75 sticks or something like that. I don't have plenty. I don't know. I'm gonna go through them here soon. I mean, they got like 20 left to go, but I've gone through a lot of glue sticks. Take a little bit for this thing to fire up. Has a dual speed setting. I really only used it as high. I'm not opposed to doing it at low, but the problem is it'll just, you don't have that much time for it to cool. It cools so much quicker. You're already at a cooler temperature to begin with. Nice graphics on there. Day of the Dead. Yeah. We'll make sure it's plenty hot so we have some working time on there. I'm going to put just one glue dot at the bottom. Kind of hold it in place. And then use super glue on the other spots. Oh, we never glued the wheels on this thing. Shame on me. let's check for fit on here. This fits right on there, so we're going to put it flush on the bottom, right in the middle. Honestly, that might be the only thing that I need to put on it. And then this will go here, somewheres. Let's get the super glue that we can adjust. Just like that. Okay, and it's shooting down a little bit, that's fine. I'm gonna shoot at them just like, they don't go that far really. Just before it rams them. And then this will be back here. So let's unplug this guy. And let's go ahead and glue the wheels. Use the fast setting super glue. One there, one there, one there. You'd think, oh, take it apart and then super glue it. It doesn't work that way. They're likely to still spin. And I want to make sure the skulls aren't all lined up with each other because they're not unidirectional. They have a skull shape on them, which may make them look really cool or real lame. I'm really not sure which one it is yet. All right, and the next step we're going to be doing is weathering. So, as always, chocolate brown, U.S. field drab. Well, not always, but and Iraqi sand. Always for this environment. And working up from the bottom up. Yeah, the wheels were, the actual wheels and the tires were actually white. That's just not gonna fly. That's, nope. Not this time, pal. This dark brown is really only towards the bottom and the tires and that sort of thing. Think of it as like maybe wet mud. Just the bottom of it, something like that. Now we're going to go to the mid-tone. U.S. field drab. This would be like the color that, like U.S. infantry's pants would be like in Normandy. And final step, Iraqi sand. No, might could add some of this right here, a little bit. And we got something that looks like this. Now, let's use another brush. I don't know what it is that does not have so much stuff on it, right? I don't really want to clean it at this moment, as I'll end up cleaning it and it'll stay moist for a while. This one that's this should work right here. And just do some of the Iraqi sand by itself. We're just going to go over this truck bed here. All right, now it's time for what I like to call drippings. Let's get, be right back. Let me go grab one. I got one out there. Right back in just a moment. We'll come back to this. We'll wrap this thing up a little bit later, but it's nearly done. We just have to do drippings on it and seal it, and we should be good to go. But we will finish this up hopefully today and start working on the next one. All right, folks, thanks for coming by. See ya.